It was supposed to be just another night at New York's most elite charity gala, glittering lights, laughter, and champagne glasses clinking in the air. But when a billionaire socialite turned and caught sight of a young black waitress's necklace, the world seemed to stop. Her smile faded, her breath caught, because that necklace wasn't just familiar. It was impossible. 23 years ago, that same pendant was buried with her daughter. So how is it now? Glowing around the neck of this stranger? The ballroom of the Waldorf Grand shimmered like a dream. Crystal chandeliers cast soft rainbows across silk gowns and tailored tuxedos. Among New York's wealthiest, Eleanor Whitmore stood like royalty, silver hair perfectly pinned, her diamond bracelet glinting with every graceful gesture. She had built empires, funded hospitals, and worn the title of billionaire widow with quiet dignity. But beneath the polished exterior was a hollow ache. 23 years ago, she lost her only daughter, Isabella, in a car accident that shattered her world. The girl was just 16, radiant, kind-hearted, and known for always wearing a small gold locket engraved with a single rose. It was the last piece Eleanor ever touched before her child was lowered into the earth. Across the room, waitstaff moved quietly between tables, trays of wine glasses balancing in steady hands. Among them was Maya, a 19-year-old scholarship student working part-time to support her grandmother in Harlem. She moved with grace, eyes humble but curious about the glittering world around her, a world that seemed galaxies away from her own. And then it happened. As Maya leaned to serve a guest, the light caught the pendant around her neck, the same rose-shaped locket that had vanished 2 decades ago. Eleanor's heart stopped. Her glass slipped, shattering against the marble. Every eye turned, but Eleanor saw only one thing: that necklace. The one she buried with her daughter. For a moment, Eleanor couldn't breathe. The sound of the gala faded, the laughter, the violin music, the clinking of crystal, all gone. All she could see was that golden locket glimmering against the young waitress's skin. Her mind screamed it couldn't be real. It couldn't, but every tiny detail, the curve of the rose, the engraving along the edge, was identical. As staff rushed to clean the spilled champagne, Maya stepped back, eyes wide, terrified she had done something wrong. I'm sorry, ma'am," she whispered, her voice trembling. Eleanor just stared, her hand pressed to her chest. Where did you get that necklace?" Maya froze, unsure how to answer. It was her most precious possession, something her late grandmother had given her when she turned 16. It was my mother's," she said softly. "She passed it down to me before she died." The room spun. Her mother. Eleanor's knees weakened. She excused herself from the table, her voice cracking as she asked the event coordinator to call the girl over later. But her heart was already pounding with questions that wouldn't stop screaming inside her. How did the locket get here? Could it really be Isabella's? She remembered burying it with her child. She remembered. Or did she? The memories blurred, like a dream she had never fully woken from. Later that night, when the gala ended, Eleanor waited near the exit. Maya approached shyly, thinking she was about to lose her job. But instead, the old woman smiled faintly. "You said it was your mother's," Eleanor said. "Do you have any picture of her?" Maya nodded. She pulled out a worn photograph, folded, creased, but still visible. A young black woman with bright eyes and a familiar smile. Eleanor's breath hitched. It was a face she recognized, not from memory, but from her daughter's past, because 23 years ago, Isabella had been secretly volunteering at a youth shelter in Harlem, a secret Eleanor only discovered after her death. That was where she'd met a young woman named Angela, a single mother who worked in the kitchen. Eleanor's trembling fingers brushed the photograph. She looked at Maya and whispered, "What was your grandmother's name?" "Angela," Maya replied. "Angela Brooks." Eleanor's world tilted. The room swayed, her pulse thundered. Angela Brooks. That was the name on the letter she'd found years ago, a letter written by Isabella before the accident. A letter she'd never dared to open. Now she understood what her daughter had been hiding. And the young girl standing before her might be all she had left of her. Eleanor sat alone in her limousine that night, the city lights blurring past her window like memories she couldn't catch. The photograph, the locket, the name, all of it spun in her head like a haunting melody. For years she had lived in silence, believing her daughter's story ended in that accident. But now, she wasn't sure of anything. When she reached home, she went straight to her study, to the small wooden box that had sat untouched for 2 decades. Inside, wrapped in fading silk, was a letter addressed in her daughter's handwriting. To Mom, read this when you're ready. Her hand shook as she unfolded it. Mom, there's something I need you to know. I met someone. Her name is Angela. She works at the youth center. She's been through so much, but she has the kindest heart I've ever known. I know you won't understand right now, but I'm helping her raise her baby girl. Her name is Maya. I love her like she's mine. The room went silent. Eleanor's breath caught. Maya. The same name. The same locket. Tears spilled down her cheeks as her hand clutched the pendant photo that was still on the desk. The one she'd taken from Maya's picture. It wasn't a coincidence. It couldn't be. Isabella had kept that locket not for herself, but for the child she loved. The next morning, Eleanor returned to the small Harlem cafe where Maya worked part-time. As soon as Maya saw her, she panicked, thinking she was in trouble for the gala incident. But Eleanor just walked closer, eyes red, voice trembling. My dear, you're not in trouble, she whispered. Maya frowned. Then why are you? Eleanor's voice broke. Because you're her. You're my Isabella's girl. The locket shimmered between them as if the universe itself had been waiting for this moment. And before Maya could even process the words, the billionaire woman, elegant, powerful, untouchable, fell to her knees and wrapped her arms around the girl. Sobbing uncontrollably, the cafe had gone silent. Even the hum of the espresso machine faded as Eleanor clung to Maya like a mother who had found the child she thought she lost forever. Tears streamed down her wrinkled cheeks, falling against the young girl's apron. For the first time in years, Eleanor felt warmth, real, human warmth, not from diamonds or titles, but from truth. Maya stood frozen at first, unsure what was happening. Then, as Eleanor's words sank in, something deep inside her stirred, that missing piece she'd never been able to name. She used to tell me stories, Maya whispered, trembling. About a friend she loved like a sister. About someone she lost in an accident. Isabella. Eleanor smiled through her tears. She wasn't just a friend, Maya. She was my daughter. And she loved you. In that quiet cafe in Harlem, generations of pain, secrets, and misunderstanding melted away. A billionaire and a waitress, 2 worlds that were never meant to meet, now bound by blood and love that had survived decades of loss and silence. Over the next weeks, Eleanor became a constant presence in Maya's life, attending her college showcase, visiting her neighborhood, and even funding scholarships for students like her. But more than money, she gave Maya something no fortune could buy, family. And as they stood together one evening, watching the city lights from Eleanor's balcony, Maya touched the locket and whispered, "She wanted us to find each other, didn't she?" Eleanor nodded softly. "Yes, my dear. Maybe some love stories never end. They just wait for the right moment to begin again. Because sometimes, fate doesn't knock twice. It waits in silence until love finds its way home."